Thursdays are fly days. Today's Thursday, we're gonna go fly. Invited to a lunch at a flying community where a bunch of people live. There's a runway. Let's go. Look at the amount of planes, and it's only 10:45. Look at that. This is so cool. Look at all the air coupes.
The Air Coupe is an American low-wing monoplane aircraft that was first flown in 1937 at the College Park, Maryland airport.
Look at that little cute thing.
I was flying the Air Coupe with a group of neighbors from Arrow Acres coming back from Sebring. I was at about 900 feet when I heard a loud rattle and a bang, which stopped and then started again, followed by a large bang and a large puff of smoke that came in to the cockpit of the airplane. But it's an open cockpit airplane, so it was away. At that point I looked down and saw my oil pressure was gone, and I realized I had to choose a field. I allowed myself 1 minute of going, you gotta be kidding me. And at that point, then I just realized I did everything they tell you to do. Set my speed, chose a landing space into the wind, and then just flew the airplane and flew it all the way down into the stop. And it stopped very quickly on a very, very soft, muddy, swampy cow field. That's when my knees started shaking. But until then, it's amazing how your training tells you, just fly the airplane. It can happen to you, and be prepared to take a quick look around and find the safest place to put the airplane down, and then just keep your head.
And because we're at a private airport, check out how close we can get to the planes. There goes Tom Cruise. This is an Aerostar 700P, and they only built 25 of them in 1984. So it's a very rare machine. It was built by Piper. It's one of the only planes that has counter-rotating flaps in reverse for more stability. This is the one that Tom Cruise used in that movie. No, he used the 600. Oh, the 600. Same plane. But it's the same plane, but that one is bigger, or? That's not pressurized, and this one has a lot more horsepower. When you put the spurs to this thing, it burns 95 gallons an hour. She's a hungry girl.
Swift Golf Charlie 1D, 1946. And as I just mentioned, Swifts are like snowflakes. There's no two alike. They were hoping to sell it to World War II fighter pilots returning. Of course, they wanted to get back to a domestic life. It didn't sell well. They built 1,500 from 1946 to 1951. And we figure there's about 300 of them flying. It's a great flying airplane. It's fully aerobatic. It rolls just nice. I don't do loops anymore because it's a 75-year-old airplane. I usually cruise at 150 knots up high. Once I took a ride in one, I said, I want one. There's nothing like flying. Try to do it. Go for a ride at your local airport. Let them take you up for just a ride, and they'll let you fly the airplane. And then you can decide if you want to continue to do that.
showing off, as they should.
This community is a what's called an air park, or an air park home. And we have 68 lots in here. It's pretty well built out. It's been here for about 30 years. Got 3,000 foot paved runway with a parallel grass. Nice taxiways to all the homes. It's very nicely designed. I live here in this air park, and I run this group called Old Farts Flying Club. And most of the people here at this event are Old Fart Flying Club members. We're going to have close to 150 airplanes in here today just for a burger lunch and to talk airplanes, look at airplanes, just live airplanes. And that's what it's all about. I have two of my airplanes out. I have this black Howard in the background, which is a 1943 Howard DGA 15P. I've had it for flying 10 years. It was a 3.5-year project prior to that. And then my old Air Coupe, a 46 Air Coupe's down the way. We meet somewhere, do something every Thursday.
In 3, 2, break. That's the crew that just flew by.
I was the runway runs. Really slowly dropping.
Bullet.
It would be okay, but you gotta really, you can't do the deal.
We come from Spruce Creek. We fly formations 3 or 4 days a week. We fly to breakfast mostly, and then Friday nights we fly over the airport itself and fly for our people at the airport. We usually have, maybe 60, 70 golf carts, 150 people every Friday night. We fly a lot. I've got the avgas bills to prove it.
How long have you been flying?
55 years.
And when do you start flying? How do you start flying?
In high school, and then college, then Navy, and then airlines. 30 years at US Air, flying Airbuses and MD-80s and 737s, and then ended up in Airbuses at the end. And the last 5 years were at American. I organize the things usually, and I'm the flight lead for my group. These RVs are all home built, and they're basically 180, 200 horsepower motors. They'll go 500 miles at a clip with the fuel, and they do about 180 knots.
And as usual, every Thursday, everybody eats, gets in their plane, goes back home. And everyone's starting to take off already. Everybody's a stunt pilot. Pull. Look at that little rocket.
a 1942 Boeing Stearman. It was the primary trainer for the U.S. Army. Just always wanted a Stearman, and I found this one and I bought it. It burns about 13 gallons an hour, and it's relatively simple to take care of.
It does not look simple to me. Why do you say simple?
Well, as far as routine maintenance. This is serial number 3050, and the gentleman who learned how to fly this in 1942 in the U.S. Army went back and found this particular airplane and restored it to this in 1989. So he restored the airplane that he learned to fly in 1942.
And that is it. Back home, back to work, back to the grind.